First, we're going to measure out the grid on our good drawing paper. The size of the boxes on the reference is 1 inch. You can make your good paper 1.5 or 2 inches depending on how large your paper is cut. Next, you're going to decide which box you're going to draw, and you find that box on your reference first and use your viewfinder to kind of cover up all the other stuff around it so you only focus on that one box at a time. We really only use our viewfinder for the more difficult parts of the drawing. You won't really need it for the background. So when you begin drawing, you're going to use a regular pencil, and you want to draw lightly. Keep your grid lines pretty light too. The pencil will erase a little bit better, actually a lot better than the colored pencils. The colored pencils, once they're there, they're very difficult to get rid of. So I always start, especially the areas where you're a little bit unsure, sketching out the shapes with a pencil first. Once you're confident with the pencil, you can remove your second grid if it's easier for you to maneuver around the page. And you can also start with the black and the white colored pencil. And you'll periodically go back to using your pencil, and you really only use that second grid over your real drawing, the bigger grid, in the places where you feel like you need a little extra help. If you're struggling with a spot, you don't need to use it all the time. Sometimes it can mask the other areas and get you in trouble. So make sure you're kind of lifting it up and putting it back when you need it, but you don't want to use it the whole entire time. So notice here on the easier parts, you're going to want to remove the grid even on your reference and just make sure your drawing is connecting periodically. You don't want to draw something a little off in one box and then realize in your other box it's just not jiving. So periodically, if you get to a part where you feel like it's flowing nice and easy or it's a pretty simple area, you can remove both grids and just use your finger to kind of keep your place. Also, very, very important, make sure you sharpen your pencil pretty frequently. A nice sharp point is going to make a huge difference in getting in the tooth of the paper and getting all the nice details. So take a few seconds here and there to really sharpen your pencil. So just a little tip, make sure you start out lightly and use kind of a short circular kind of stroke or whichever direction works for you, but you don't want to try to cover large amounts of area all at one time, and you definitely don't want to go too dark too fast. The colored pencil is very waxy, and if you get too much wax on your paper, it makes it very difficult to build up or to get rid of the scratchy lines in your shading. So layer your darks very slowly. It's so much easier to go darker and layer more colored pencil on top to make your color more rich, but it's very difficult to erase. So if you get too dark, it's just really hard to get rid of it. So we're going to speed it up and finish up the drawing here. Notice how you can go back in after your drawing is done and add your details and compare your levels of gray, darken up some things. You're not using your grid. You're just comparing different areas of the drawing to each other. But make sure you're always looking at that reference photo. Don't try to make it up out of your head. Sometimes it gets really satisfying seeing the color go on the paper that we realize we're not actually drawing the shadows that are actually there. We're really just enjoying the shading. So make sure you don't do that. And that's it. There's your finished product.